Pastor Dave here. Why do some people who used to worship the Lord now reject Him? Let's talk about that. Okay, so why do some people who once worshiped the Lord now reject Him? There are several answers to that. I'd like to take one answer from the book of 1 Kings chapter 12. And to give you the setup on this, this is about the time of the split between Israel and Judah, so that Judah is going to be ruled by Solomon's son Rehoboam. Israel is going to be ruled by a rebel named Jeroboam. God has promised him blessing if he will remain faithful. But Jeroboam doesn't seem to have that kind of trust in the Lord. This is what it says in 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 27 and following. It says, and this is Jeroboam talking to himself, "If this people go up to offer sacrifices in the house of the Lord in Jerusalem, then the heart of this people will return to their Lord, even to Rehoboam, the king of Judah, and they will kill me and return to Rehoboam, king of Judah." So the king consulted and made 2 golden calves and said to them, "It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem." This is what he's saying to his own people. You don't want to travel down there to Jerusalem. That's too much work. It's too much for you to go to Jerusalem. Behold your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. He set one in Bethel and one in Dan. So one in the north, one in the south of the kingdom of Israel, to keep the people loyal and faithful to him. So what do we have going on? Why is Jeroboam, who once worshiped the Lord, now overtly rejecting the Lord and putting up these idols in Dan and Bethel? Because he has a greater love. He has something that is secondary, that he's nurturing and loving, and so that is his own life indeed, but his own kingship as well. So he's nurturing these things. Even though God said he would bless him, God said he would prosper him if he would remain faithful. But nonetheless, he's taking these secondary things and he's placing them over his love for God himself. And people do that today. They've always done it. There have been so many who have rejected the Lord because their love is misplaced, because they put second things as first things, as Lewis would say. They choose something lesser as their God. How about you? Are you doing that? Are you tempted to do that? Are you doing it not even realizing it? I think today, and you can judge for yourself, but in my opinion, I think today a lot of that happens around the topic of sexuality, so that you'll have people reject the Lord who once worshiped the Lord. They were children, grew up in church and Sunday school, but now reject God for the very purposes that they want to nurture their sexuality, their sexual expression outside of the bonds of marriage. They love sex, and they love sex more than they love God. And why? Isn't it just easier to dump God, that you don't have a lot of love for anyways, to nurture and to enhance your sex life? That's what people do. In my opinion, you judge for yourself. So, and that's odd because it's God who gave the gift of sex in the first place. But calm the conscience by rejecting God and grab hold of the thing that you love instead. What's the temptation for you? Is there that temptation for you to take some sort of secondary thing? It might even be a good secondary thing, and yet turn it into something primary, a primary love, a love that is greater than your love for God. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. The recipe for blessing is this. Of course, God, in his great love for you, sent his only begotten Son, right? He loved you in the Jesus way, in the cross way. Jesus taking the penalty of your sins upon himself, that you might have an eternal relationship with God. That is far and above everything else. Why would we not want to love God in the gifts that he gives us? Why would we not want to put first things first, him first, as the greatest love in our life? Well, y'all have a wonderful day, and remember that Jesus does indeed love you.